thank you so much for watching us today for GEW Action Navigation, the Aviation Industry During Crisis. Today, we will be discussing on the prospect of the industry, not just during the pandemic, Doc, but also against the change in flying behavior, political, as well as economical crisis. So together with us is actually Dr. Hazariah Muhammad Noor. So Dr. Hazariah obtained her Bachelor of Science in Aviation Maintenance Engineering Technology from Northrop Rice Aviation Institute, California, in the USA. But at the same time as well, she obtained or took dual master's degree from Universita di Pisa, Italy, as well as Universidad Politécnica di Madrid, Spain. And finally, Doc finished her PhD at Universidad Politécnica di Madrid, Spain as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Hazariah Muhammad Noor is also known as Dr. Kurt, is the Vice President for Women Corporation Aviation Asia, and she is also our principal researcher for Gas Turbine Engine Research Hub, working on future renewable and alternative energy for aviation and developing virtual training for gas turbine. Sorry, Doc, panjang sangat credential you, so you know it takes a bit of time to read everything. And you are currently a Deputy Dean for Student Development Campus Lifestyle at Universiti Kuala Lumpur, Malaysian Institute of Aviation Technology, UniKL, MIAT. How are you doing, Doc?
Oh, Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Zul. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, that's quite a lengthy explanation. And I do believe that I don't have to tell about myself.
Okay, but Doc, perhaps you can just, introduce to us, let us get to know you on a personal basis. Huh? You mind to just introduce us a little bit about yourself as well as your involvement in aviation industry. And I think you also have some slides to be shared together as well, right?
Yeah, I think before I start, I would like to thank you, the Global Entrepreneurship Network Malaysia, for inviting me to be one of the speakers during the Global Entrepreneurship Network Week, which is being held by this week. I do believe that it's 16 to 20 of November. And I saw that there's a lots of topics that are being covered, and also tomorrow is the last day for the event, and I do appreciate the invitation to me, as well as I'm representing Universiti Kuala Lumpur. Basically, yes, you already described about myself. Formally, my students and my colleagues know me as Dr. Kurt. It's a very lengthy story to tell, but don't worry.
Yes, Doctor, I need to ask you, why Dr. Kurt?
Okay. It's not Kurt Russell, it's not Kurt Angle, but actually it's Kurt Cobain. All right. Okay. During the high schools, my classmates love to go for jammings. They know who they are if they're watching. They love to bring their Nirvana song during my time. Yeah, so I rather somehow I also interested in all the alternative song by Nirvana, and it's led me to having a T-shirt and everything about Nirvana, and then one day people just call me Kurt, and then it's up till now. Yeah. So Zul, back to your question just now. Basically, I'm used to be the alumni for the Universiti Kuala Lumpur. On that time in 1997, it's called Amara Northrop Rice Institute. It's a collaboration between the Malaysian government and also the United States government to form the first aviation school in the region. Yeah, Zul, during that time. Yeah, and I'm the third batch. So once I finished the courses for the airframe and power plant, I straight away worked with Malaysia Airlines as an aircraft mechanic. So I myself is an aircraft mechanic back in 1998, working with the 737, working with the 777, and most of the time I'm working with the Airbus 330 during that time. Yes. I think part of me also during that time is I'm the only in my batch. I'm the only girls being selected, and it's quite tough for me to survive. That's why I'm joining the WCAA, yeah, to encourage, to motivate the students, the young generation out there, that women also can be part of the aviation industry. Yeah, so I think that's a little bit of the introduction.
So, yeah, Doc, let's go straight to the topic, yeah? So basically,
Yeah.
by the end of the March, as you know, Malaysia shut down the border and preventative measures were taken to make sure that we can contain the pandemic, the spread of COVID-19. And because of that, it has caused an immobilization of aircraft on ground. And it has spread to Asia, extended to Western Europe and USA. So this, in a way, has financially impacted and weakened all aviation industries, and create what we call as domino effects on aviation. Yeah. So do you mind to tell us a little bit about this domino effect, especially on commercial aviation industry, Doc?
Yeah, so thank you for the questions. Yeah, and I do believe that the topic that we are talking today is rather somehow is related to the our current situation. Yeah, so mind me sharing a simple slide for the audience to engage with me. Yeah, so I hope they can see now the slide. Okay, yeah, actually again, Azul, before we go for the moon, let us revise a bit of the history. Yeah? Actually, back in the 2008, air transport is one of the most dynamic industry, yeah, which is decades of continuous growth. Yeah? Airbus, Boeing, they make the rich historic record, which is both of the giant of the aircraft manufacturer delivered around 800 aircraft. All right, 7,000. They got more orders. Like for example, for the Airbus, they received 7,500 orders for the Airbus, and then for the Boeing, they received 6,000 orders. All right, so this fleet is supposed to be double up between 2017 until up to 2035. Yeah, so which is we can say that most of the aircraft 43,000 will be in service during that time. Supposed to be, yeah. But yeah, as you were saying, end of March, we Malaysia closed our border, and following by I think starting with the in China, and then it spread throughout the global impact. Yeah. To recap also that in 2018, yeah, air transport transported 4 billion passengers, okay, traveling worldwide. All right. So when our borders is closed, imagine there is no flying out of in and outbounds of the country. All right, and then only a certain flight is flying. All right. So this rather somehow create a major impact to the aviation industries, and in the same time, what we call as the domino effects on the aviation. Yeah. Basically, when we talk about the domino effects, is capture the whole sectors of the aviations. For an examples, yeah, flag carrier, okay, they impacted all the national carriers of any of the countries. Yeah, low cost airlines. All right, need to find a mechanism in order to prompt start once the travel is authorized again. The charter airlines are at agony. Yeah, the COVID-19 pandemic, they strikes a second blade on the sectors. Okay, so the charter airline is also having an effect on this COVID-19. All right, and another thing that we sometimes might forgotten to look at is also the lessors. Yeah, because most of the airlines is lease their aircraft from the lessors. Yeah, so the lessors is also under pressure. So during this pandemic, it is actually is the first time over the last 3 decades. Yeah, there may be more end of leasing than the new contracts being renewed. Yeah, so hundreds of aircraft will be put back on the market due to the bankrupts and also weaker the leasing company.
Understood.
And Yeah, and also Zol, we talking about the aircraft, we're talking about the airlines, but we often forgot about the airport itself. Yeah, so basically the domino effects on the aviation is also strike on the airports. Yeah, airports are also directly severely impacted because many airports around the world collapse because of the air traffic is collapsed and airport is also not working. Yeah, up to 60 to 95%. Yeah, imagine only 5% activities in the airport. Yeah.
Mhm.
So when the airport is impacted, it's also related to another activities such as hotels surrounding airport are empty, food services is empty,
Mhm.
commercial galleries are closed. So all those impact. But for today, I would like to emphasize on the two things, two sectors. Yeah,
Mhm.
the aircraft manufacturers and also suppliers, and the other one I will talk about the MRO.
Mhm.
So yeah, so when we talk about the aircraft manufacturers in the beginning, I was telling that more delivered aircraft in 2018 and more orders being captured by Boeing and Airbus. But due to this, all those giant manufacturers having the financial implications because of some of the airlines cancel the order and they're having problems in the production line and so on. Yeah,
Mhm.
and aircraft manufacturers is not working alone. They also have a suppliers, they also have a
Mhm.
vendors, they also have their chain. For
Mhm.
example, in Malaysia, we have Boeing counterpart, which is work for the components of the aircraft. For example, we have Aerospirit here in Subang, we have CTRM that working for the Airbus in Malacca, and also we have one in Kedah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah,
I see.
ACM, yeah, yeah. So they are working with the supplying all the products, all the parts of the aircraft to these giant aircraft manufacturers. So
Understood.
imagine, yeah, Zol. So meaning that when the aircraft manufacturers having a financial implications, all right. So now we in Malaysia is also impacted. So this is the dominoes effect that also impacted us in Malaysia, related to the giant aircraft
Mhm.
manufacturers.
But
Yeah,
just Dr. Kurt,
yeah,
as an
yeah.
academician yourself, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think you have involved in the industrial in aviation industry for quite some times, and you have also engaged with the future next generation of aviation players as well. So how do you actually see the important role of the aviation institutions, universities, training organizations, or in fact the key players, in preparing and navigating them through this pandemic actually?
Yeah. Okay, when we talk about that, University Kuala Lumpur is also part of the, the bigger picture of the aviation industry in Malaysia because
Yeah.
we are the biggest. Yeah, because we are the biggest human capitals. Yeah, supplying all the manpower to all the aviation industries in Malaysia and also in overseas. Yeah, so meaning that in here we can see that university institutions that have a direct link with the industries need to change their 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 activities. For example, me as a academician, last
Mhm.
time I will waiting in front of the class at 2:30. The students gonna come in, but now I'm gonna be at home
Mhm.
and then watching them come online to the class.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Meaning that because of this domino effect, is also
Uh-huh.
creating a changing the landscape of the aviation industries and also the aviation education level, education. So we have to change.
Yeah. Doc,
Yes.
I just want to bring you back a little bit into MIAT or UniKL MIAT, yeah? That's
Yes.
actually, I've been to your training center and it looks very impressive. It's very huge. Maybe you can just share us a little bit about, the milestones UniKL MIAT has achieved to date actually to become a very impressive and huge training center within the country.
Yeah, when we talk about that, to answer your questions, the proof is actually is myself and my colleague, which is been in the training schools since 1997. Yeah, before MIAT, it was Northrop Rice Institute. So meaning that starting from then, I myself doesn't have diploma. I only have a certificate level to certify me to work with the aircraft for the power plant and also for the airframe. So starting from the beginning, we start very humble from the beginning, start from the certification only. Yeah. So meaning that the milestone that we have up to now, we have PhD level. We have master program by research, master in aerospace, and then we have PhD in aerospace. So meaning that certificate levels in 1997, all right, and then we have our diploma program for helicopter, aviation, aeroplane, and also avionics, and then we have another degree program, mechanicals, avionics, and also aviation maintenance. Now we have master in aerospace and also PhD in aerospace. Yeah? And in between that, Yazol, when you are in the aviations, you are kind of like walk alone if you're not working with the authority. So we are being approved by the local authority, which is a Civil Aviation Authority Malaysia, CAAM, and also we've been approved by the EASA, the International Authority, which is European Aviation Safety Agency. So these are the milestone, the biggest milestone that we have.
I see. And Doc,
Yeah.
I read about the Malaysian Aerospace Blueprint 2030.
Yes.
I'm just
Yes.
wondering, how would UniKL supplement or, complement the blueprint itself?
Okay, when we talk about the blueprint 2030, Malaysia, it has many things. Okay, it has many things, including what we are offering, what Universiti Kuala Lumpur is offering. All right, for examples that human capitals is demand for the manufacturing, for examples. Okay, so whatever that we have, whatever the syllabus, the program that we have, basically we are doing the syllabus. Yeah, I forgot to mention, whatever the syllabus that we have, program that we have, actually we are referred to the industry. Yeah, we are not, the university creating it, like doing it by themselves. No. So we
call it.
Yes, short sendiri. So meaning that in here, we are doing the course syllabus in parallel with the industry driven. So when you're mentioning about 2030, means that it should be in parallels. We are going to work in the same way towards 2030, towards the end.
I see.
Yes, yes.
I have a question from Win Johnson, actually, Doc. So when you
Mhm.
are actually looking at the landscape of aviation industry around the world, the industry has always been dominated by Middle East players, Emirates, Etihad, and Qatar as well. So what do you think actually that make them so dominant in industry, and can our homegrown brands will ever achieve that?
Okay, when we talk about the Middle East,
Yeah.
uh, measuring all those aviation industries, like
Yes.
all the giant, I think the most important thing, the main thing is the capital, is the financial. Yep, is the financials, because when you want to do businesses, especially in the very high, what you call it, a high, like aviation, high standards like aviations, you need a very huge capitals, right? So in Middle East, they have no problems in terms of the financials. Yeah. So and also actually we in Malaysia also, our human capital is not only for Malaysian. Our students mostly are now in Middle East. They are the engineer in Middle East. Yes.
Yeah, I heard UniKL supplies students to the Middle East as well, if I'm not mistaken, yeah?
Yes, Zul, we are not just supplying the human capitals, but we have close to 150 students, international students, that I can say 60% from them came from Middle East.
I see.
So they are looking at Malaysia as one of the education hub also, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I guess what our homegrown brands need is actually an injection of a lot of cash to compete with other Middle East players. Yeah.
uh, Cash is very prominent to say, but in the same times but in the same times also we Malaysians have to change and also have to adapt and adopt with the new technology that we have up there, right?
I see. I
uh
see.
yes, exactly.
And sorry, continue on. Continue on.
Yeah, just to add, when we said about the technology in Airbus, in France, in Toulouse, they already have the hangar of the future. Okay, but we in Malaysia still chasing in order to equip ourselves with the hangar of the future, with all the technologies, with all the drone inspection, with all the just touch of the button, the aircraft can come in and docking, preparing. All right. So instead of the money that we are talking about, we are also need to invest on the knowledge. Yeah. So that so that our homegrown grown can be part at the international industries out there.
Uh-huh. So, Doc,
Yeah.
yeah, speaking of cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aviation industry has always been seen as what we call as a big ticket industry because we need a lot of injection of cash for the entry point. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we've seen that some of the aviation players, such as Wow Air, Jet Air, and Kingfisher, in fact, our own
Mm-hmm.
Sharia compliant airline, yeah, they failed. They went into bankruptcy. So, do you have any advice for the new players out there in terms of the key factors that they need to consider before getting into this industry?
Yeah, I think, Dr. Zoya, in order for me to give an advice to a bigger picture in terms of that, I think I'm a very small, but being the 17 years in the education industries, creating us to the research and development, and we did a lots of research towards the among the environment of the university. Yeah. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, yeah, yes, the most important thing I think in any type of businesses, doesn't matter it is aviation, it is automotive, or it is maritime. I think the most important thing is the business model. Yeah, is the business models of that particular company. Yeah, because the business model that they need to cope is not might be that 4 or 3 years or even last year the business model might not work years old.
Yeah.
It's totally need to be revised, it need to be revamped because after the COVID-19, no, we
Mhm.
are still in the COVID-19, but for the post COVID-19, I think the business model that need to be developed is totally changed because as I mentioned before, the landscape of the aviation is changing. We are
Mhm.
not going to do the same thing, we are not going to follow the same rules that we have before. It's like something that is changing the landscape of the aviation. So model that we have, formula that we have, is not going to be applied for the next after the post COVID. Yeah.
But Doc, I think generally, right, pandemic or COVID-19 has taken the toll on the world, especially in the aviation industry, right? And among many other changes, the COVID-19 pandemic has also impacted us, in various ways, and not just for today, tomorrow, and beyond as well. So, what do you
Yes.
think the beacon light for aviation to navigate this situation?
Okay, I love that questions. Like being in the aviation industry is when you use the term beacon light. It's yeah. It's we as yeah.
Is the tower,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me share one slide, yeah, to
Yeah.
to show you the beacon light of this one. Okay. All right. Can you see this one? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, today, tomorrow, and beyond. Yeah, the beacon light for aviations. Okay, I think this picture I presented to the audience so that we can simply capture that when we said about the beacon light is the light that help and navigate the aircraft to landing or whether takeoff or whether they are airborne. Yeah. So basically, in here I put three different things. Yeah. So the first thing is the mutual cooperations. Yeah. When we talk about the mutual cooperations in the pandemics, meaning that we ourselves, all right, we ourselves is part of the mutual cooperation in order to fight for the COVID-19. Yeah, so meaning that the mutual cooperation in between ourselves, mutual cooperation among our colleagues in the organizations, among the families, among the community, and among the company, the businesses, all right, and also towards the global economy. Yeah. So when we have the mutual cooperations among ourselves, all right, we are working together. We are working to walk the same path. It's like Manchester United. I'm not a big fan of Manchester United, but it said that what we are what color you know.
I'm a
Real
supporter
Madrid.
of Madrid, yeah.
Real Madrid will say Hala Madrid.
Madrid, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So mutual cooperation. Back to that just now. Yeah. So meaning that we never walk alone. We are working together for in order to strive for this pandemic. Yeah. So when we are work together, meaning that we are strong together. All right. Yes. Another thing is the quick technology adoptions. Yeah. When we talk about quick technology adoption, as I'm mentioning that the IR 4.0 is we have been talking about it like how many years back. Yeah. But now rather somehow this pandemic is shortened the projections and also the implementations of the IR 4.0. So now basically rather somehow we are in the IR 4.0. For example, Yazul, if I wanted to meet you, I have to go and drive all the way to KL to see you.
Yeah.
Right? Having traffic jam and everything. It's not possible for us to do this such thing. But now everything is making changes, digitalization, transformations, all right? So all these things, quick technology savviness, okay, we need to adopt it. Yeah. So this will be the light for everyone in order to be in the same page and in order to be fighting up for the current situation for tomorrow and also for beyond. But I think for the aviations, yeah, recovery, yeah. When we talk about the recovery, it start with the customer itself, yeah. Because, for example, in order for a line to operate, the border need to be open. Okay. If we wanted the border to be open, meaning that we need to ensure that the declining of the COVID-19 cases is reducing. The whole world is safe. All right. But then after that, do you think that the customer is ready to travel? All right. So the recovery will start with the customer itself, whether they are ready to travel, whether they are feel safe to travel. That will determine the light for the aviations for the future, for the tomorrow and beyond.
But Doc,
Yes.
just going back to your your slides on the technology adoption just now, yeah. We all know that the aviation industry itself, it takes more than just the training centers to provide the human capitals, but also the government to ensure a more regulated environment for the aviation, as well as industrial players to absorb the human capital and drive the economy. From the academic point of view, yeah, what are the challenges you see in the gap that bridge the players within the training centers? What are the gaps that we can actually fill in between the players and also the training centers?
Yeah, actually, when we talk about this, it's just not the academic institutions, okay,
Yeah,
educations, industries, and I think another thing might need to be added is also the government, yeah, in
yeah,
terms of the policies and yeah, in terms of policies, yeah, because if only two do the tango, I think we just like tango just by ourselves, right? So meaning that, yeah, because the institution can come up to, with the strong framework in order to adapt this new norm in terms of the technology, in terms of the readiness, and in terms of handling the crisis management, yeah. And also, we do believe that industries is struggling, yeah, because of this pandemic is unprecedented situation, yeah, it's unfortunate event that we don't want it to be happen, but it's there. So meaning that in here, the academician, the institutions, okay, need to work closely with the industries. So like I mentioned just now, the mutual cooperation is it's between both of these parties need to be enhanced. If before might be the institutions is listening 100% to the industries, but I think now we need to look at on how the educations handle it, because sometimes it's not just handle it, but we are also going to provide the future human capital, which is if before the students might have a certain skills is enough for them to work in industries, but after pandemic COVID-19, we need to increase more. We need to add more skills, for examples, so that the students will be ready to be deployed, to be employed by the industries, following by the policy by the government, support by the policy of the government. Yeah, I think is that it. Yeah.
yeah. But I'm just wondering, yeah. Let's say from you as a lecturer, as the one delivering the knowledge to the students, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, with this pandemic, it changed the whole landscape of the aviation industry and such. Yeah. So, what do you, as a educator, the initiative that you take in order to equip the students better to face the change or the change in the landscape of the aviation industry? What are the steps that have you taken?
Okay. The question is really, really directed to me as a deputy dean.
As
That
educator,
in
yeah.
that's also in charge of the students. Okay.
Yeah.
During the COVID-19, since March, I was handling close to 2,700 students stranded in the hostel, stranded in their home, rental house, right, away from their family and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this situation is very crucial, and we at the university levels is supporting them as much as possible. Okay, so we learn these situations in a very difficult way, because it's never have ever happened to us in the education and also towards the Malaysians environment. Yeah, so meaning that in here, if before, all right, the students do have the skills that we equip them with the to prepare them for the industries, all right, but since the early March, when the COVID-19 impacted us in Malaysia, yeah, we are changing the way we do the education learning. Yeah, we do a lots of trials. We fail so many times, but we come out better, we come out stronger, and we come out with different things that both of us. Because as I said, yeah, when you are doing something, it cannot take one to tango. Yeah, so meaning that the educationer, the academician is also need to understand the situations of the students. Yeah. For examples, yeah, yes, we are teaching as a profession, yeah, but also at the same times we are trying to change the view of the students, the view of the lecturers itself, because these changes is not just for lecturer, it's also for the students. So we equip them with the critical thinking, All right, because they do have the critical thinking before, but when this pandemic strike, the critical thinking need to be very emphasized, need to be very detailing on what skills that they need to have. But I think as well, the most important thing is we are having difficulties is actually to ensure the students ready on the technology adoptions. Yeah, technology adoptions. I
Why
think
is that
that,
so?
yes.
Why is that so? Why do you find it very hard to get the students ready for the technology adoption?
Okay, it has two reasons. Yeah, the first thing is we need to know how, we need to have skills. We need to have skills in order to use it. All right, we need to know how to use it. We need to know how to enhance it. We need to know how to rectify the problems. Even though we are saying that yeah, you can just on Microsoft Teams, you can just on WebEx, Zoom, and everything. Okay, just talk and talk and lecture the students. But it's not that easy as they say. Especially as a technical institution, yeah, we are teaching them live to the mock-up, live to the training equipment. So you imagine you are doing online, but you are teaching technicals. All right, it's tough for us.
Okay.
It's even tougher to the students.
Understood.
Yeah, yeah, and also we need to think about when you do the practical, you cannot do the virtual practicals. It need to be something that is very hands-on because we at University Kuala Lumpur, MIAT, we are abide to the rules and regulatory by the authority. So we need to ensure that the practical sites need to be fulfilled, need to have a certain hours that they have. Right? That's the first one, skills. The second thing is we need to understand. All right, we need to understand that the readiness in terms of the internet connectivity, yeah, because the students, not all of them come from the rich family that can have a very good and very strong internet connection. Even sometimes the lecturer also don't have a very strong connection. So this situation is tough because we as education, we need to ensure that we deliver what we're supposed to deliver. But skills we have, let's say we rectify the problem of the skills, but how do we rectify the problems of the internet? University Kuala Lumpur give away, I think more than 3,000, no more than 3, more than 4,000 SIM card to the students. But still, it's not solving the problem.
It's not solving the
Yes.
problem, yeah.
No.
So, Doc, I just want to change the discussion of the topic a little bit, yeah, because we have a
Mhm.
question from Amira Roslan, and I think it would rather be a much more sensitive question. So, locally in Malaysia, MAB and AirAsia have always been compared to each other. While both have different models, one operate on the premium model while the other one on low cost, both have one common similarity. They are homegrown, they are bound to some form of protections by the government, as well as there is a demand in the market itself. So, from academic point of view, Doc, what do you think the local homegrown airlines in general should do to increase their competitiveness and their appeal to the international market?
Okay, thank you for the questions. I think it's a very specific questions asking of that. Yeah, I think in the aviation industries, as I mentioning, the business model is crucial in order to determine the how far you can go. Because sometimes when you talk about the business like a Ryanair, like a EasyJet, did yeah, if low cost airline, yeah, because I think back in early those years we don't have such as a low cost airline. That's why AirAsia slogan say that everyone can fly, which is I think is a very good, and it is a very we really appreciate it because yeah, during that times there has only Malaysia airline, which is the price of the ticket is very expensive. Yeah, so I think that again back to the business model that that determine the whole things is also need to ensure that the competitiveness, yeah, because Malaysia Airlines in the other way is the national carrier, and then AAT is in the other way is the low cost carrier. right? If before we can only see those two, but later on we have more. We have Malindo, we have different small aircraft, and we have varieties of the GA, general aviations, for the charter flight and so on. Okay, so I think as academicians, okay, I see that. Yes, it will be a very challenging because we are not a very large country that can that from like US, from once California to New York is like 6 hours, 7 hours, and we need more low cost carrier to cater that. Yeah, but I think back to the business model, back to the initiative by the governments, and then back to the uniqueness of that particular airlines to carry themselves in order to let the customer, the passenger, to choose which one is better for them. I think I might answer. Did I answer your questions?
Yep, Doc. Yes. But there is also another, we are about to come to the end of the discussion, but two last questions from me. There is somebody who commented on the page saying that most of the airlines in the world, and I think in the US as well, they receive some form of bailouts. I think in the US they receive around $35 billion in form of bailout. This is very crucial because if we are going to jumpstart the economy, the country needs to be able to move the people and its goods. However, some people feel that, for airlines, for certain airlines, perhaps in a country you do not really need 2 or 3 or 4 airlines altogether. So the bailout perhaps can only be for certain airline, 1 or 2 airlines, not general in the whole, in the context of Malaysia. So what are your response and thoughts on this idea? Should the bailout be to all airlines or should be very specific to a certain players only? What do you think about this?
I think, in my opinions, that's kind of like a very sensitive question too, yeah. But again, we need to look at as a whole perspective, yeah. A very simple things that we can adapt is if we wanted to help, okay. If we wanted to help or we wanted to bail out between A, B, and C. All right. The first thing that you need to see is whether do you have the money to bail out? Does the government has the money or not to bail out? That will be the first. If they have the money, all right, can they bail out all these A, B, C airline?
I see.
Yes, if they can bail out all those 3, all right, they might not be able to bail out like 100%. 70%. They can bail out and like, for example, 20%. I think in this case, I think it's back to the government on how their policy and how convincing is the airline seek for the help. Because if you need to bail out, for example, like airline B, all right, but it's something that we forecasted, it's something that the projection, the airline is not going to survive. All right. The first thing, if you bail out, then the airline is going to back up. Or the second thing, if you back up, but then if you bail out, but then is it just going to waste the money? So I think this is a very, very sensitive in terms of to whom the government need to be bailed out.
I will. Issue, right? Chicken and
yeah.
You can't really decide directly which one to bail out, right?
Yeah, but Zul, yeah, I think if I have so much money, right, I will bail out airlines company that I know that has a potential to survive. It's not because I say that okay lah, that airline is not going to survive, just leave it there. No, it's not like that. They need to convince us how far, how convincing their proposals in order to let me or to let the government bail out. Yeah.
All right, Doc. This is just my last question to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any advice or recommendation And I don't want you to give it to the future players or what, but specifically to the students who are actually, going to pursue their career in aviation. Do you have any advice for them out there?
Yes, I definitely have it. Can I share? Can I share screen for my last? Yes. This is originally from myself. Yeah. Let me share. Because when we are talking about the aviation, we cannot run away from the aviation terms. Yeah. This quote is by myself. When you look at the yellow things, is representing the aviation terms. Yeah, thrust, drag, attitude, and also altitude. Thrust and drag is the four factors that is affecting the theory of flight. Yeah, thrust, drag, weight, lift. Yeah. So meaning that for the students out there, or for those audience that listening to us today, from the Global Entrepreneurship Week, self-motivation can be the trust to move forward, because we know that the trust came from engines. It needs power to move us forward. Yeah, but rather somehow, so where hurdles came, yeah, it will drag us backward. But remember that if we have the right orientation of attitude is one of the instrumentations in order to know the orientation of the aircraft to the horizons. Yeah. So with the right orientations of the attitude, it definitely can bring you to a higher altitude, and it can bring you safely to your dream destinations. So I think during this pandemic situations, yeah, the students, the young generation out there need to be stronger than before. If things happen like this in future, you are ready for it. So please, yeah.
Just wondering, when you were
Yeah.
young, did you ever imagine that you will actually be in the aviation industry? Just wondering.
No, no. Yes. To answer your question is definitely no, because we know that during my time, I came from a rubber tapper family. Right. So our family is very very poor, because we can only eat chicken only once a month. So this aviation industry during that time, it's impossible for us to participate in all this type with exclusive with the expensive aviation industries. Yeah. So I never imagined, but my hometown is a very far away from the town. So when you heard the sound of the aircraft flying above, you go run and you chase it. All right. Start from there. I think I said to myself that yes, it's impossible for me to join this aviation luxury industry. But if once in my lifetime I can ride on airplane to go somewhere, I will be thankful. But yeah, but then Allah give me this rezeki opportunity with the support of the MARA and the governments. I got scholarship to further study in US, and then I got a scholarship to study in for my master in Italy and Madrid, and then I got scholarship from Universiti in Madrid itself to continue my PhD. So I think, yeah, thank you so much. So meaning that in here, yeah, Dr. Zulf, it's not possible. Because dream doesn't have any expiration date. So you dream as much as possible, right? It will lead you to, inshallah, to the destination that you wanted to go with the right altitude.
All right. Okay. Ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, yeah, that's the end of our conversation with Dr. Kurt, and I think you can just stay online so we can wrap up things. So thank you so much, Dr. Kurt, for your time, yeah, for today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
No worries. It's been a pleasure to hear your inspirational stories as well. So I'll end the live session now, yeah? Thank you, Doc.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Global Entrepreneurship Network.